Oh my God. All right. Well, am I live or not? There you go. Okay, it's live. Oh my. So much to talk about. And I'm only going to be here for about 13 minutes because I have to leave to go pick somebody up. So this makes it so that this won't go too terribly long. All right. So first things first, in your state, look up your style of process just for fun. Just look up the style of process. Go search style of process, state of Hawaii, style of process, because it's a state of Hawaii. It's corporate. What we have here is man, and over here is we have corp. Man, make the corp. Okay. And I have copious amounts of evidence to prove it, and of course I don't have it here handy. Yes. All right. So here's your first step. This is your first step. Go look on my playlist. I have many playlists now. And see, my playlist, there's a lot of stuff on my playlist where you better know the difference between the real and the unreal, and the lie and the truth, fiction and nonfiction, because there's a lot of fiction in some of those playlists. But this is, you can't, there you go. That you can't lie about that. Right? That's a 3-cent stamp. The world is split in two, my friends, and that split in two is basically the difference between post and mail, the difference between a fiction in law and reality, a real person, an actor, an actual. Once you begin to realize that all they have is corporations. It's a corporation. The United States is a corporation. The nation state is a corporation. Trump is trying to get you guys to join the corporation and respect law enforcement. These are not peacemaker. What do we used to call them? We used to call them peace officers. They're not peace officers anymore. They're law enforcement officers, and they enforce law for the statute merchants. The statute merchants create corporations, and they fuck you with basic grammar fare, word fare, because you don't know the difference between all caps and lowercase. In fact, they'll tell you that there is no difference. There's a difference. And it's not that like you can't stand on that, but the idea is that when it's all caps, you know it's a corporation. When it's title case, you know it's the man. That's it. That's the significance there. You can't win a law case on that, but the idea is if you know that you're private, right? Because over here, the public is private, right? These are the nation states, and in that nation state, we'll say the United States, and then there's your state, one of the 50, or the territories, and then there's your county, which is part of those states, and they're all listed on Dun and Bradstreet. If you fucking go look, it's right there in front of your eyes, right? They don't hide anything from us. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, because there is no excuse, because it's all out there for you to see, but most of you won't look because you got yourself a slave education. And that slave education made it so that you think the words mean one thing, and it turns out that they mean another. You guys don't even know fucking. And when I say you guys, I was one of them. So I mean, it took me a while to get here. But you guys don't even know how to use a 3-cent stamp, because you don't know how to address an envelope, because you don't understand that you're without the corporation. You're not within the corporation, and they do every fucking thing they can to try and trick you into thinking that you're a U.S. person. Now here, just by looking at this mug, you know that I can't be a U.S. person. Because Dred Scott, go back and read Dred Scott, and there's numerous other cases that say if you are of African descent, if you were one of the indigenous people, if you were one of the people that were here before 1776 when they made up that Constitution, and go take a look at Article 6, right? That Constitution gives you no rights. It secures your rights. I don't know how else to explain it to you. It doesn't give you civil liberties. All it does is secure the rights you already have. Your God-given rights, your inalienable rights, the rights that you had if you have treaties, if you're a descendant of Cherokees or Blackfoots or Iroquois or many of, and turns out, a lot of you are, and it turns out you didn't know that they had treaties, and those treaties are still in effect. Those treaties, it says in Article 6 that, all those treaties, and see, that's the thing where they were trying to get around our Constitution, which you are not party to, but they are. No, these corporate citizens, they are. They swear an oath to uphold it, right? You didn't swear an oath to uphold the Constitution, or maybe you did, and if you did, then you're over here, right? And you have to volunteer, like in the U.S. Armed Forces, in the military, right? There's places in the military where you got to volunteer 3 fucking times before they'll let you in, because you got to give up your rights, you got to give up your rights, you got to give your, and you got to, right? Okay. Over here, you reserve all your rights. UCC just reserves your rights. You got to understand the form law. UCC is in every single state, has been adopted. All right, so once you understand a little bit about the UCC, and like I said, if you do paperwork, you better know what your paperwork says, right? You better not just put shit in your paperwork that sounds good to you. If you don't understand the case and you haven't read don't use that. Excuse me. But the idea is here that once you understand over here, private is public. You are the public. You are not sovereign. The whole fucking sovereign movement was to fuck you up, was to trip you up, to get you into their system. Because when you fuck up over here, and you try to tell them that I'm not right, your laws don't apply to me, they do. I'm sorry. That corporate personhood, that corporate fiction, right? And see, learn about this. Learn about just the fucking simplest things. Oh my God. Trust law. There's 3 parts of a trust. Let's see here. We'll just go over here with the debtor, the creditor, credit, and then over here is the guarantor. All right. Learn about this. Just learn. Oh God, I'm not even doing that. I'm so not doing that. Let's do this. You've heard of C.S. Lewis, haven't you? All right. So Lewis, comma, C.S. Or we'll call him Cliff. Just for fun. S. Who is that? Oh, that's the creditor. That's how they put the creditor in, right? Cliff Lewis. Cliff S. Lewis. That's the debtor. So when you walk into court as the debtor, answering to your name, whether it's in all caps or in lowercase, because when it's spoken, it sounds the same, right? Because a matter must be spoken to be heard. That's a basic tenet in law. And when you walk into the court, they have absolute control over this debtor, over the corporation, right? That's the world. That's the world you're traversing into. But if you're like, hey, I'm in here in propria persona. Hey, I'm the holder in due course of this birth certificate and this birth registration that tells you that I am the creditor. I am not the debtor, right? I have paperwork that says I'm the debtor. Because I am, because you are, you fucking filled it out. So, get a clue. But if you're over here at the creditor or the guarantor, they have nothing over you, right? And I've got all kind of paperwork, and I can tell you about lots of fun terms that I didn't put here. I'll make another video at another time. And then I have this whole freaking crazy mind map that I did, and I did a short video on that, and I'll put that in there. I told you I'd do more about this. I will do more about this because there's a crap ton of stuff out there that gets you. You start fucking around with the mail, and now you're fooling around with the UPU, and they'll come and get you. they ain't fucking around. So you better learn about what this thing is called. The difference between mail and post. Again, because the corporations that took over that usurped our government and turned you into debtors and basically slaves, all of you back when. All right. God. I'm running out of time. See, that's why I put a time limit on it. I got a couple minutes before I have to leave. 1776. That's, everybody knows that date. 1775 was the post office, though. Right? And okay, so these guys said, all right, we'll continue to deliver the post. And there was all this stuff about the post office, and you can read 250 pages about that here. There's PDFs that you can download where they took over the post. Anyway, but the idea being is that the corporations still were obligated to deliver the post for 3 cents. To those that are outside the United States. You other guys, you use the 55-cent stamps. Go ahead. I don't care. All right. So 7 years later, we're at, what are we at? We're at 1782. Bankruptcy because they couldn't afford the war. And then now we're at 1789. And another bankruptcy. And now the founders are just like, well, we can't keep going bankrupt. We can't afford this. And the bankers were taking their pound of flesh. So they turned around and said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it 70 years. Where does that take us to? Well, that takes us to 1859. Oh, what happened right after that? Oh, Civil War, all kind of. That's how we get out of it. Always with war. This guy named Lincoln, he had a way to get out of it with the greenbacks and so forth. Lincoln was an interesting character. I'll give you that. He wasn't a demon, and he wasn't all good. He wasn't all bad. As all of us, as with all of us. All right, then we add 70 more years to another bankruptcy over here. So where were we at? We're at 1859. One more bankruptcy. And then, by the way, when we went through that civil war, there was no quorum. And that's when the beginning of the true fuckery began, right? I mean, the bankers really started taking over. And they turned us all, right? We all niggas now. They turned us all into slaves, right? They didn't set anybody free. They made you part of a corporation governed by a constitution. Read the Federalist Papers. That constitution... Right, we replaced our constitution. We replaced our king with a constitution. We replaced our emperor with a constitution. Anyway, but the idea being is that it applies to the corporate slaves that decide to be part of that constitution, and that's Trump's plan. That's everybody's plan. Get you to register to vote. Now you're a U.S. person. Now you are under their jurisdiction and authority, which you will respect. You will respect their authority. All right. So where are we at now? Well, now we had 70 years. Where are we at? We're at 1929. What happened in 1929? Okay, and then 1933. And see, I used to teach securities law and so forth because I used to have a securities license and I was responsible for freaking compliance in my office. But anyway, there's a bunch of security things that happened here when the country went bankrupt. They took all our gold. They did all kind of fun stuff. They turned you into tenants on your fucking forms when you take a look at your deeds of trust and so forth and title and so forth. Nobody owns land in the United States. The government owns all the land. You own none of the land. You can have usufruct of that land, but you may not have a legal title. So then if you want to put a fixture on that land, you need permission, which is where you get all the permitting and stuff. Right? Because you don't fucking own it. They do. And you pay taxes till you're dead. Okay, anyway, if you're a corporate citizen, right, and getting out of this it's very difficult to get out of that, right? Well, if you're a citizen of the United States or a U.S. person. I have a default because of me, because of my ancestry. The Dred Scott says we cannot be U.S. persons. Sorry, can't do it. I can say all day long that I'm a U.S. person, but by law I'm not allowed to be. Neener. Anyway, all right. You white folk are going to have to figure out that, they weaponized you against everybody else, and you're going to figure out how to get out yourself. And it's not that hard, actually. There's paperwork to be done. Damn it! I've said it in numerous videos. There's paperwork to be done. All right. So now where are we at? 1999. Oh, you got to hear about hanging chads and all kind of bullshit. No, there's a 90-day grace every time, right? When you come out of receivership. Anyway, so they had to go through the 90-day grace, so they couldn't put a new president in until the corporation was reached. Anyway, so it went through the receivership, right? But you didn't hear shit about that, right? You heard about Florida man not being able to vote. That's what you heard about. You heard about hanging chads. Now, 20 years in, this guy named 21 years in. This guy named actually not even. What was it? 16 years in? 17 years in? 17 years in. They're not fucking around. Their gematria is amazing when you start to learn the gematria. But anyway, this guy came in, and now we just had the Kansas City Chiefs beat the 49ers. There's some symbolism there, and there was all kind of crazy, sick symbolism in the Super Bowl and so on. And so you should watch some of these public spectacles. I did not this time. I'll catch the reruns, but you should watch some of these public spectacles because it's notice. It's definitely notice when everybody's watching. And then pay attention. Just fucking pay attention. Anyway, the idea being is that they've lied to you. You're a man or a woman. Woe to man. No, that's a lie. That's a lie by the synagogue of Satan. No, the woman makes the man makes the woman. And together, you can do amazing things when you get together and you understand your status and who has what over you. But you be pledging your fucking children to the bankers. They're going to honor those pledges. You're the one that pledged them, right? They didn't pledge them. You did. Again, they don't guard our prisons. We do. Right? Anyway, and you can't let it make you crazy. It's like playing D&D. I don't know. Some of you guys like I said, I've said it in other videos, but it's like playing D&D, except you get benefits from this because you learn a lot. I knew way too much about Tom Bombadil and Gandalf and what a ranger was and non-player classes and the Dungeon Master's Guide and so on. I knew way too much in this, and I didn't know enough about this. I didn't know anything about this, and that's what they want. They want you entertained. Same thing. You like video games? You know those video games where you actually got to do like puzzles and you got to, you got to figure stuff out. It's not just first-person shooter. You actually got to. Okay, it's like this. And then the problem is, you'll fall down the rabbit hole and you think you're just playing a lovely game of D&D, and it turns out it's Call of Cthulhu, right? Right down to fucking monsters that eat children. They're there. Okay, so what you need to do is educate self and educate others. And then you got to be very careful. Play the game until you know what the fuck you're doing. Because if you go off half-assed, they will throw you into the system, right? Because some of these things that you can do, like these idiots that were throwing liens around like they were candy, yeah, you're going to wind up in jail for that. And now they got your ass, right? And I can name a bunch of people that I try to tell you, but nope. And then they wind up losing their liberty. And that's problematic for a lot of you guys because you got children and wife. And when you go inside, you can't support your, and then you lose everything. And they love that. They love that. Tricked you. That's what they do. They're tricksters. They're deceivers, right? Couple more signs and symbols for you. Get under this symbol right here. Even if you don't believe, it doesn't matter. You need to know what that book says. It's in every freaking courtroom. But see, that's their symbol, right? This is the Yeshua. This is the Christ. This is the Christ consciousness. This is Saturn. And these people are not good. Saturn is the giver of law, right? And what the statute merchants did is turn around and take those laws and you know the rest of the story, or maybe you don't. You need to take a look at it. But bottom line is they're statute merchants. And they figured out how to make oodles and oodles and oodles of money off of our ignorance and off of our stupidity and off of just the fact that, most people can't barely read or write or make a document. They don't know about endorsements. They don't know about trust law. They don't know anything. So that's easy to extract wealth from you till you die and then get you to pledge your kids and extract wealth from them till they die. They're changing that, but not completely because these guys were a little out of control. So this Trump guy comes in and he's going to back him off a little bit, but he still means to govern you. He still means to make you a U.S. person. He still means to make you part of the corporation, right? But the idea is once you arm yourself with some knowledge, then you know what paperwork to fill out and who to send it to and so on and so forth. Like I said, that's above my pay grade. There are other people that will do that for you. But the idea is you guys need to fill out your paperwork and then you can stand on your square. But I mean, there's a shit ton of paperwork to fill out, as it turns out. It's fucking overwhelming. And that's the other part of it. They want you to be overwhelmed. They want you to sit there and be scared. No, what if I fill out the wrong form? Oh, you can always correct it. You can change your signature. There's always corrections that can be made, but do it right the fucking first time. And you don't have to correct anything. And the way you do it right is by reading the damn law. And finding out because there's other people that have gone, right? What is it? You can only learn from your mistakes, but they don't have to be your mistakes. There have been plenty of people that have bumbled their way through this and fucked up ahead of you and then don't do what they do, right? Don't do what they did. And they'll tell you not to do what I did because that was a mistake. And then you can see the people that are doing it right. And they seem to be having a lovely time. Okay. So do what those guys do, not what, right? Okay. And a lot of these guys learn from hard experience. So learn from the guys that have learned by hard experience. Again, you can only learn from mistakes, but they don't have to be your mistakes. All right, I gotta but I'll be looking for BitChute. On BitChute, I will have a video for you guys that talks a lot about the difference between a man on the land and a person in residence. Two completely different things. They are not synonymous. And on and on and on. I mean, it just goes for days. And see, this is the thing. It's a hobby that it never ends, right? There's so much law there. You're never going to learn all the law. So it's just a hobby. Same thing with finance. You can learn about finance and money and banking and same thing with history. There's a lot of history that you don't know, and there ain't nothing new under the sun except for the history you don't know. But they do it over and over again because it works over and over again. They fuck you over and over again. They've done it for centuries. And only just now are people starting to wake up. Now, what they've done in the past when people woke up is they burned everything to the fucking ground. That's not a joke, right? Put you back to sleep. But your ancestors, when they woke up, yeah, there was a Reformation. They burned books, right? And what were you going to do about it? Okay, well, now, and this is the problem. These fucking Americans got guns. We ain't shooting bows and arrows and throwing Molotovs. The day comes, we all got guns. And I know lots of guys that got more than enough guns for their friends and family. Right? Not just them. That's the point, right? And ammo. So they do everything they can to try to disarm us because the day is coming when the populace gets a little too uppity. And guess what? That number is too tiny it's so small. About this much. You can get 5%. Oops, that's supposed to be 5. You can get this much percent of the populace to wake up and understand that they're men on the land, right? That we're men, damn it. And in order for them to do anything to us, you have to step into their, you have to traverse into their land of fiction and be an all caps man, right? Now you're a person, right? A natural person. Like I said, Tulsi Gabbard, I feel bad for her. She woke because she drank from the cup. But the idea being is that she went in there thinking one thing and it turned out to be another. And then she, instead of going no, she just went with it. But the idea being is that the difference between the way that it's written. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do it. All right, I have to do this. We'll pick a name. Well, here's a simple one. Everybody knows this. Smith. Joe. Pick an initial. Joe D. Smith. There you go. D. Okay, so he was is probably descended from people that used to work metal, but well, who knows? All right, difference between spoken. They sound. Oh, these don't sound the same spoken now, do they? Learn the fucking difference. Learn what it means. They're going to tell you the straw man means nothing. No, it does. All right. The one is a corporate fiction. And see, this is the thing. The corporate fiction, your states and counties and the others, they can't sue you. They can only sue a corporation because you have to have like with like, man with man. And see, you can't sue them in common law courts because there aren't any, right? We don't have judicial courts. They're all fucking military courts. And surprise, surprise, it doesn't need to have a gold flag. It doesn't have to have a gold fringe around it. That's a military flag, right? The stripes going this way tell you it's military. The stripes going this way tell you it's civil. Go look that up. Flag law, right? We haven't used this since that other bankruptcy back there in the 1859, right? It's always been this flag with the stripes going this way. And by the way, the stars over here are going to be blue on a white field, and the stars over here are white on a blue field. It all fucking means something, right? All of it. So you need to know what it means. And it takes a while to figure it out. Okay, my friends, I am out because I got to go. But check it out on BitChute. I'll be having a couple videos. There'll be a video that goes on and so on. But just understand the symbolism that just happened. The Chiefs just beat the 49ers. The indigenous people are, what they're trying to tell you is that they're going to give you back some power. There's going to be some free energy coming up here soon, right? Devices that make energy. That we already got off the oil dependence, but wait a minute, when we don't need even that. So much more. Cures. Trump is again. Listen to him when he speaks. He's talking about releasing the cure for AIDS because it was an engineered. They know how to fix that. Anyway, but there's going to be a lot. But you can't do it all at once because I don't trust you fuckers either. If you did it all at once, you guys would be all up in arms. And we got guns. So yeah, we could burn the place down pretty quickly if you got all pissed off when you realized that, yeah, they've been fucking grandma keeping her from having cures for cancer and all manner of diseases and so forth that they know the cure for. Those are coming out, going to be slowly. And they're going to, it was an accident. We discovered this by accident. We didn't know about this in the 70s. We didn't know about this in the 50s, right? We didn't know about this a fucking century ago. Right? Because you'll get pissed off and then you might pick up your gun and start shooting. That would be bad. Right? We want peace. But I understand it. I completely understand it because when you first, it's like grieving. When you first find out about this shit, it makes you angry. Right? It'll make you angry. When you find out about the children, it'll make you angry. All right. Now you got to back up and slow down. Right? And begin to educate yourself and do something about it. Quit feeding the beast. Quit feeding the beast is the number one thing you can do. Look, there's only this many kind of people, right? And most of you are over here. And I get it. I fucking totally get it. But the idea is while you're over there, they are doing bad things to children, among other things. Anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. Go back and watch this video from the beginning for those of you that just joined and so forth. And then go over to BitChute, and that won't be there for a couple of days. But check on BitChute. I'll try to put a short video up. And you can check BitChute, and there's going to be a longer video. You know me, I can make stupidly long videos, but I mean, it takes hours to cover this shit. You can't cover it in 15 minutes. You can't. I mean, the synopsis is basically you are a man, and they are corporations. The corporations try to get you to agree with them that you are a corporation too, and then they can affect you. That's the 30,000 foot view. Now you got to come down, and there's all manner of paperwork that you need to do to let them know that you know, so that they know that you know, and you know that they know that you know. All right. Take it easy, Crime Stoppers. Educate self, educate others. It's now more than ever e pluribus unum, right? United we stand. This is divide and conquer. This is not peace. This is divide and conquer. And what they have figured out how to do is once one of us figures it out, the other 1 in a million figures it out, and then the other 999,000 is guaranteed to call you crazy, right? So don't worry about your family and friends. Educate yourself. Then you can try to educate others. If they don't listen, don't worry about it. Right? But make sure you're standing on your square and you're not doing stupid stuff. Right? Learn from people that have gone before you that are successful. Right? And successful means, yeah, they're just being left alone. That's all you fucking want, is to be left alone. Right? All right. Take it easy, Crime Stoppers. I'll talk to you guys soon.